This is analog and digital communication systems. The paper code is EC501. Total number of contact hour is 36. The contact per week is 3 lectures, and the credit is also 3. Myself, Dr. Indranath Sarkar, Associate Professor, Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering at JS College of Engineering. Welcome to Analog and Digital Communication. This is Module 5, Digital Modulation Techniques. There are 5 course outcomes of this subject. The first one deals with, it explains the importance of analog and digital communication. That is the modulation and demodulation schemes. In this case, we are very much interested to grow the knowledge of the student towards the basic definitions of the modulation and demodulation part. The second course outcome deals with the analyze analog communication system for their signal to noise ratio, efficiency and bandwidth, because whenever students are dealing with the signals, they are very much interested to know about its power that can dominate the noise over the channel. So that is why signal to noise ratio plays important role for analog and digital communication, as well as its efficiency and bandwidth. When the signal is received by the receiver, the accuracy should be as high as possible. The third course outcome statements is to compare the advantage of various pulse modulation technique and analyze their system performances. And the fourth one deals with demonstrating signal representation. So this is one of the most important part of the course, that is how to represent the signal or signal constellation, because once the signal position is known, therefore we can describe the noise margin or noise cloud around the signal vector tip, so that the amount of noise that can contaminate the signal will have a prediction. So that is one way to check the communication system suitable for a certain area. Analyze various digital communication techniques, can compute the bit error performance and compare their advantages and limitations. So this is the last outcome, which is dealing with the efficiency of the digital communication system, in which the bit error rate as well as several types of error cases, that is type 1, type 2 errors, will be discussed here, so that students will be able to demonstrate such factors. There are 5 modules in this subject. The module 1 deals with the introduction, where the introductory concept of the communication system will be discussed, and thereafter the basic knowledge of the analog communication and digital communication and their correlation, that is interdependency of those two communication system over the timeline. And the second module deals with the random processes. The random process it deals with certain mathematical examples as well as principles, in which the statistical characterization of the signal will be analyzed. And the module 3 deals with the pulse modulation. The pulse modulation basically analog communication technique, and it is also the bridge between the analog and digital communication technique, because the pulse modulation produces pulses corresponding to instantaneous magnitude of the analog signal. Several categories of pulse modulation are also to be discussed in this module. And thereafter the module 4, which is signal vector representation. So if signal vector is properly represented, then we can predict the amount of noise that can contaminate a particular signal, whether the signal will withstand with respect to that noise or not. So all these things could be predicted. Digital modulation techniques will be discussed here, and differential pulse mode modulation to shift keying techniques, all these things will be discussed in the last module. The prerequisites of this analog and digital communication is the knowledge of signal vector representation, characteristics and of additive white Gaussian noise, geometric representation of signals, synthesizer and analyzer, signal vector, signal space, Euclidean space, etc. And this is the corresponding COPO mapping for the analog and digital communication. There are 5 course outcome statements which are related to the program outcome vertical with 3 different weightages. The first one is the highest weightage, numerically 3, medium weightage is 2, and the lowest weightage is 1. So why it is 3 given? Because program outcome 1, 2, 3 are the corresponding knowledges of engineering, as well as program outcome 10 and 11 deals with the communication and project management and finance. So in this case we are giving higher weightage to each of these course outcome mostly, and there is a low weightage are getting program outcome 5 and 6 because it is the theoretical subject in which the modern tool uses and engineer and society impact are less, and almost environment and sustainability, ethics, these are coming less to this subject. So depending on that, this COPO mapping has been introduced. The course objective of this analog and digital communication is to familiarize students with the fundamental of analog and digital communication systems, to provide students with tools for communication signal analysis, to familiarize students with various techniques for amplitude modulation and demodulation of analog signals, to develop the students' ability to determine the effects of receiver frequency and phase errors in synchronous modulation systems, to familiarize students with techniques for generating and demodulating narrow band and wide band frequency and phase modulated signals, to familiarize students with basic techniques for generating and demodulating pulse code modulated signals, to familiarize. In today's class, we will discuss about the coherent frequency shift keying signal constellation for binary FSK, coherent frequency shift keying modulator, coherent frequency shift keying demodulator, error probability of BFSK signals, and the power spectral density of BFSK signal. Now, the frequency shift keying is normally used for the low-cost applications where the transmission of data requires the low data rate, as well as it may be through wire or wireless transmission. Now, frequency shift keying is a robust technique because here the information resides in the frequency of the carrier signal, and the carrier signal is normally a radio frequency signal which is having the frequency that is having the time period which is fraction of the time period for the bit duration. That means 1 bit information, that is for logic 0 or logic 1, whatever is the bit information, there is a integer multiple of the time period of the carrier signal is equated. So therefore, for each of the logic information, the number of cycles accommodated for the carrier signal within the logic duration is evenly distributed. So it is not happening that there is a least value or peak value is not happening in the transition. That is, whenever there is a transition of the bit information, there should have the presence of the least or maximum value of the carrier signal. So that means the cycles of the carrier signal are evenly distributed within the bit duration. Now here AMRE FSK modulation schemes will be discussed, which is power efficient modulation scheme. Now this AMRE FSK schemes, if we go for a simple description, it is nothing but there are m number of symbols which are constituting such FSK signal, and if suppose there are more than two number of symbol, there is two number of symbol, nothing but logic 0 and logic 1, and if there is two number of more than two number of symbols are there, then we need to find out the number of bit, which is the natural log uh, divided by natural log of 2. So in this way we can find out what is the minimum number of bit required for representing such signal. The AMRE FSK modulation are becoming popular for spread spectrum communication and other wireless applications. The coherent frequency shift keying signals are normally represented by this equation, where SIT is given by square root 2 EB by TB, that is cos of 2 pi FIT. Here FI stands for the frequency of the instantaneous information, that is whether it is logic 0 or logic 1, depending on that two different frequencies are allocated. So these two frequencies should be different, otherwise what will happen for the transmission of logic 0 and logic 1, there will be a collision of the frequency, that means same frequency will be representing logic 0 and logic 1, and that will contradict with the original principle of the frequency shift keying, because in case of frequency shift keying the number of frequency should be different and number of frequency should be equal to number of logical information. So since there are two number of logical information, one is logic 0 and another is logic 1, therefore there are two number of carrier frequencies present. The carrier frequencies are used for binary frequency shift keying modulations are two, and one frequency is called the mark frequency. That means for logic 1 earlier it was termed as a mark, and there is a logic 0 which was termed as space. So there is one frequency that is called the mark frequency allocated to logic 1, and there is a space frequency which is assigned to logic 0. By convention, the mark frequency indicates the higher of the two carrier used. So this is obvious because for logic 1 we normally assign higher frequency compared to the frequency assigned for logic 0. The bit duration TB, which is the time limited signal, and for the bit duration signal, that means for the whole duration of the bit we are representing this signal. Now in this signal SIT, this is the frequency modulated signal, that is frequency shift keying signal. Within this signal there is a presence of the carrier function and the magnitude of the logical information. So here if we separate, we will get square root EB multiplied by square root 2 by TB cos of 2 pi FIT. So here square root 2 by TB cos of 2 pi FIT represents the carrier signal, which is also known as the basis function. And the property of basis function is that these two carrier frequencies, that means one is F1, another is F2, if we take the product of these two carrier signal and if we integrate over the time duration 0 to TB, the result must be 0, otherwise they are not orthogonal. So for frequency shift keying, to satisfy the principle, we need the two carrier frequencies are orthogonal to each other. That means product of the two carrier signal, if integrated over the bit duration, the result should be equal to 0. And therefore if we separate the square root 2 by TB cos of 2 pi FIT, if we separate this, we are getting two number of magnitudes. We are getting the magnitude which is representing the logical information, that means square root of EB. Now this square root of EB is representing logic 1 as well as logic 0. So therefore there should have some polarity difference for representing them separately. That means logic 0 and logic 1 should be separately identified due to the polarity. And that is obvious, we can separate the signal by means of polarity only, because the magnitudes are same. There are no other information which could be incorporated here, because we are utilizing only one carrier frequency and there is no frequency for the data signal, because data signal is logical, that means it is a DC level, either logic 1 or logic 0. So therefore this type of data could be polar not returned to 0 or unipolar not returned to 0. we already have discussed in case of line coding technique. There are several representation of the binary information. That means either logic 0, logic 1 may be represented as unipolar signal, or it may be bipolar signal. The difference is that the advantage of the polar signal is that it has a long excursion from the lower magnitude to upper magnitude. That means negative magnitude to positive magnitude. So higher excursion means it has robust in nature. That means the nature of the digital information will be robust because it has a higher level of excursion. And if we do not take polar information, that means if we consider the unipolar information, then the problem is that the excursion has been halved, and therefore the noise immunity of such signal, that is such binary information, will be less robust, because whenever it is traveling for a long distance, it will be contaminated or superimposed by the noise, so that it will be degraded to a lower value and it will not be properly recognized. So therefore better we should use bipolar return to zero, bipolar not return to zero type of signal, so that we can get more robust nature of the information. Now here we are representing the carrier signal, that means phi it is equal to square root 2 by tb cos 2 pi of t. So this is the nature of the carrier signal, which is having the property that the two number of carrier signal must be orthogonal to each other. The binary scheme uses two carriers, and for special relationship between the two frequencies, one can also define the orthonormal basis functions as this one, because I is equal to 1 or 2 representing logic 1 or logic 0. So in this way, it is not specific that the Mach frequency should be always higher than logic 0 frequency, but that is a convention utilized from long ago. That is why we are telling that logic 1 frequency should be higher compared to the logic 0 frequency. So therefore we are representing the carrier signal separately for each of the logic. Now here the capital T1 is representing the time period for the Mach signal, that is 1 by f1, and the time period T2 representing the Mach frequency for the logic 0, and therefore that is 1 by f2, T2 is equal to 1 by f2. Now if T1, m of T1 is equal to n of T2, which is equal to bit duration, where m and n are positive integers, the two carriers are orthogonal over the bit duration TB. So here RB, that means the bit rate, which is equal to inverse of the bit duration, denotes the data rate in bits per second. The orthogonal condition implies f1 equal to m of RB and f2 is equal to n of RB. So let us assume that n is greater than m, and that is f2 is Mach frequency. Let the separation between the two carrier be delta f is equal to f2 minus f1. Now we are starting to describe the mathematical explanation of the coherent frequency shift king. So here the scalar coefficients are important and required to be defined at the earliest. So Sij stands for the scalar component of the vectors which are representing the frequency shift king. Now here the phi j is the basis function, and Sit stands for the corresponding resulting frequency shift king signal. Now as we know, the bit duration is equal to TB. So for the whole bit duration, if we take the integration of the product Sit and phi jt, we are finding the result, which is nothing but the scalar component Sij. Now this Sij constitutes the logical information at the receiving end. So therefore this is nothing but the correlator function which will be utilized at the receiving end. So here this gives two number of values, either square root EB or 0. That means if I equal to j, then only it is square root EB. That means for the logic 0, suppose we are representing the f1, that means the F1 means frequency for logic 0, F2 stands for frequency for logic 1. So if it is logic 0, then Si and phi j, both of the suffix must be same. That means for I is equal to j, we are getting the magnitude of logic 0 is square root EB. Otherwise, we are getting the magnitude square root EB if I equal to j means if I equal to 1, j equal to 1, and if I equal to 2 and j equal to 2. So there are two situations for which I and j are equal. So therefore we are getting the same magnitude square root EB, but there are two certain suffixes for which such equality may happen. But if I is not equal to j, that means s of 1 2 or s of 2 1, both of these values are 0. So the two signal vectors can be expressed as s1, which is equal to square root EB 0, and for s2 it is 0 square root EB. Now this is the signal constellation for frequency shifting. As we already have seen that there are two different frequencies are representing logic 0 and logic 1. So therefore it is very much clear that S1 and S2 are on the opposite side of the decision boundary. That means in the horizontal axis phi 1 and phi 2, which are orthogonal in nature. That is why they have the phase difference 90 degree. So phi 1 is representing the x-axis and phi 2 is representing the y-axis, and we know x and y are having 90 degree out of phase. So therefore phi 1 and phi 2 are 90 degree out of phase. So in this way we can make it clear that two basis functions are orthogonal. Now under such condition, if we represent logic 0 and logic 1 magnitudes, both are square root EB. There is no polarity have been used, but thing is that one magnitude is residing on the phi 1 axis, another magnitude is residing on the phi 2 axis. So in this way we can make it separate because the direction has been separated. It is on phi 1 axis and that is on phi 2 axis. So logic 0 and logic 1 magnitudes are same, but they are on different basis function axis. So Z1 and Z2 are the two union boundary conditions, that means boundary region, in which we are deciding either in favor of logic 0 or in favor of logic 1. That means for logic 0, if phi 1 is representing logic 0, then Z1 stands for the region for decision in favor of logic 0. Similarly, Z2 is another domain, and for which we are finding another decision region, and if it is representing phi 2 is representing logic 1, therefore Z2 is responsible for deciding in favor of logic 1. Now the coherent frequency shift king modulator circuits is shown in this block diagram. Here it is very much clear that square root EB, which is the magnitude maximum value of the rectangular path strength coming in front of the modulator, in front of the modulator. That means they are raw message informations. Square root EB is the magnitude, and so 0 1 sequences are coming. So in this circuit there are two paths. One is not facing inverter, another is facing inverter. So that means intentionally the polarity has been introduced. So for the F1 path, the binary information does not have any polarity change or polarity inversion, but for logic 0, that is for the F2 path, that is bottom path, there is an inversion of the magnitude. So in this way, logic 0 and logic 1 are separated in two paths. So inversion means logic 0, if inverted, it will be logic 1. So in this way, the two paths are separated. Now here, if we observe at the top path and at the bottom path, multipliers are used. So if the magnitude of the voltage is 0, then if it is multiplied with carrier, result is 0. So therefore, at the top path, if logic 1 is present, then only we are getting the output, and at the bottom path, if logic 0 is present, then only it will be inverted to logic 1, and we are getting the product of this and phi 2. And also we should note that there are two basis functions, phi 1 and phi 2, which are having the frequencies f1 and f2 are applied to two different product modulator. So these basis functions by principle are orthogonal to each other. That means if we take the product of these two basis function and integrated, it will be equal to 0. So therefore we are getting the two signals at the top and bottom path, and they will be applied to the summer, and we are getting the BFSK modulation signal. Now this is the demodulation demodulation circuit for the coherent FSK signal. So receiving signal is again passed to two different paths where the multipliers are accepting either phi 1 or phi 2. So therefore after the receiving signal being multiplied with carrier signal, if it is integrated, that means the multiplier followed by integrator, which is nothing but the correlator. This correlator produces some signal, receiving signal R1 as well as R2 at the bottom. Now if they are differentiated and applied to the decision device, we are getting either logic 1 or logic 0. Now here one thing we should understand, that when the logic 1 is present, at that time the top side is producing the signal, but the bottom side has no signal because logic 0 has 0 fold in magnitude. So if it is multiplied with phi 2, the result is 0. Similarly for logic suppose for logic 0, if it is the inverted magnitude is present, so then the successive multiplier produces some signal which will be further received at the end of the correlator and fed to the summer, so that we can get the data which is decided by the detection, that is decision device. The error probability of BFSK signal is another important part of this discussion. So let us consider the additive noise L, which is representing the random variable whose mean is plus square root EB. If message 1 is transmitted for the message 0, the mean of L is minus square root EB. So probability of error for logic 0 can be easily expressed by integrating the probability density function over the whole bit duration, and the nature of the probability density function is already shown here. So this gives the probability of error for logic 0, which is half of error function square root EB by 2n0. And this is the probability of error for logic 1. The similar mathematical derivation may be carried out to get the same magnitude of probability of error for logic 1. And this is the power spectral density calculations. Here the BFSK signal can be expressed as square root 2 EB by TB cos of omega ct plus pi t by capital TB. Now why it is plus minus? Because of the logic 1 and 0. One frequency is higher, one frequency is lower. That is why plus frequency is representing the mark frequency, and the negative frequency means it is the lower frequency for logic 0. So therefore we are getting a signal expression for the FSK signal. Now this is useful for deriving the power spectral density equation. Now we can simplify the equation by considering UQ and GQ expressions, and after replacing, if we find out the power spectral density, that is first we have to find out the energy spectral density, and if we take the time rate of change of energy spectral density, that gives us the equation for the power spectral density. And this is the overall spectrum, nature of the spectrum of the BFSK signal. And here it is very much clear that only the central lobe is having the maximum power concentrated. The first minor lobe is also not avoidable, but if we want to boost up the central lobe, then the equalizer could be utilized to suppress the first minor lobes. Thank you.